Okay, good morning everyone, or shall I say good afternoon. Apologies for starting a little bit, a few minutes late. I'm just going to wait for some people to join us. I'm going to just do some sectioning while I'm waiting for you to all join. Oh good, we have at least one person now. So I'm just going to start sectioning this through, and then I'm going to talk you through what we are doing. Got a little bit of shine there. Perfect. Okay, so good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining. Once again, my name is Jon. I am the Global Education Manager for Elgon Cosmetic. We are an Italian family-run company celebrating our 50th year. Producing professional products created by hairdressers for hairdressers. And we operate in over 90 countries all over the world. And of course, in this crazy few months that we've had all over the world, it's very interesting because although we are separated by distance because of health reasons, in a weird way, we're more connected and more exposed than ever before, you know? So thank you so much for joining. Today we are going to do, we were going to do the colour technique, but we're actually going to do the cut technique from one of our iconic looks from our latest collection, Gentle Energy. Good morning guys, thank you for joining. I can see you've got people from different time zones. I'm going to have to avoid coming so close to the camera because of the last few times I've noticed you kind of get this like giant boom off my face, so it's not good for a Tuesday morning. All right, so today we are going to go through the recreation of this look. This is from our latest collection, Gentle Energy, for the summer and going into the fall for 2020. I love this look. Colour created by Zoe, fantastic technician from our team, and the cut created by artist Marco Girotti. I just think it's exquisite. Just to talk you through a little bit through the technique, we wanted to really go back to classic. So we went through with a classic bob line shape. We went through with a classic bob line shape, you know, something that's kind of rounded through the edges, strong but not super aggressive, and then working with a beautiful internal layer through that top area. So this week I'm going to focus on creating the form, and then next week we are going to focus on the gala. Believe it or not, this model, she actually had virgin hair when she came to us. She had natural hair. So we coloured her hair using our brand new decolorant, Super 9. If you haven't heard about it already, you can check out my video already on the Connect by Elgon YouTube channel, which tells you a little bit more about the collection theme, but also about the product. So here it is, Super 9. Fantastic new product, for sure. People are going to go crazy about this. 9 levels of lift, 1 to 2. Really fantastic product. And what's really great about it is the amount of lift you can achieve in such little time. So in a lot of markets like the United Kingdom, certainly throughout Europe, I know in parts of America and also Asia, salons are starting to reopen. You know, we're working in conditions where maybe we're not allowed to have as many stylists in the salon or clients. Services have got to be quick, effective, great results. You know, we also need to increase our costs because we have that challenge now in the salon. So less clients, less staff, the fixed costs are still the same. So you know, we have to recoup the money, you know, and still charging more, we still need to deliver a great quality product. So, you know, this is why I think Super 9 is a perfect time for this product to come to market. Anyway, of course, I've not used Super 9 on the mannequin. As you know, mannequins are a nightmare to colour. They're already pre-treated, so I think if we were to decolor the mannequin, I think we would have a bit of a problem. So it's already it's already coloured white, and I actually just very quickly, just to make it look a bit more interesting for today, I just used the Colour Care Silver Shampoo just for a few minutes, just to make it look a bit more spicy, and then next week we will do the real deal. Okay, so we're going to start off with a classic bob line. I've prepped the hair with Imagea Elgon Green Phytolysia, which is a beautiful leave-in conditioner enriched with Kalahari melon oil. So it's a fantastic moisturizer without making the hair heavy. It's got no like nasty chemicals or elements in it which are bad for the hair or the skin or the planet. So it's a fantastic product to do a bit of a deep dive into if these are things that really concern you, and I think they should. It's a hot topic. We're using that as our leave-in conditioner. We're now going to work with the Affix Tame It, which is an anti-frizz cream. I'm just using this for some light control and discipline. As you can see, my mannequin, she is molting quite a lot at the moment, so I'm going to just grab myself a towel. Nicely prepared, I have everything I need here. So she's molting quite a bit, so we're going to just put this down. Alright, let's get going. Oh, and one last product. Prep It from Affix, one of my favourites. Prep It is a great pre-cutting lotion, also fantastic for starting your blow dries. I primarily use this as a cutting aid because I personally don't like working with nothing in the hair. I like the hair to dry naturally, let the haircut do the work, and then I like to let the shape do the work and have a little bit of product in there, so I'm not relying on the blow dry to do the work for me. Now, as a hairdresser, I'm not a big fan of hiding behind styling. It's just not my thing. I never was an editorial hairdresser. And I never will be an editorial hairdresser. I think it's beautiful. I think there's definitely a place for it, but it's just not for me. It's just not my aesthetic. I like working in a more organic way. So we're going to start with a center profile. I'm working with a bob liner, so I'm going to keep this very, very, very simple. Now, normally, when I cut my bobs, I like them to be really very strong, very, very strong. Here I'm going for something a little softer. So I'm going to actually work in the fingers, which is something I don't normally do. But I think for the effect of the shape, I think it's going to be perfect. Alright, so like so. Just a center profile, clip it away, forget about it, don't even think about it. I'm going to just turn it, there we go, so you can see. The shine from the Colour Care is beautiful, huh? It's amazing. So it looks like we've got the lovely Marika from our digital team. She's joined the conversation, so I think she'll be helping moderate. So if you do have any questions, feel free to throw them into the comments. I will also answer them as I'm going, as best as I can. But if I don't see your question, don't worry. I will come back and answer it after the session. Okay, so we're working with a diagonal forward, like a traditional bob, nothing too wild happening here. Going to tilt the head forward, but not right down. And we're going to keep the outline square. Now, the objective here is to create like a bevel. So we don't want it to sit like super aggressive. If I want the shape to sit super strong, I normally would go in the comb. But on this occasion, I'm going to go in the fingers. So, tilt it forward. I'm going to use a lot of tension. Now, this is actually too much hair for me. way too much. So I'm going to just split this in half to give me some more control. Still keeping everything square, keeping the fingers elevation. We're just taking it off. But I'm still keeping the ends quite clean, eh? Just drop it away. Like so. Next section. I know, Doreen. Any of you that have joined us, we've just completed a session. We've just launched one of our brand new courses, Colour Advanced Session 2. A true labour of love. So educators that have attended that and are here, thank you for joining. I do agree, I am definitely on the run. I'm the one-man band, but it's good. Okay, here we've got the basic outline. We don't want to go too crazy because I still need enough length for this to bevel in. So I really don't want to go too wild. Now this mannequin, it's a little springy, so I need to be a bit careful. This hair is like going a bit crazy at the moment. I actually can't wait to be cutting real hair again. It's really been a long time. You know, I think sometimes we always think of the mannequins, we always associate it with when we are apprentices, right? We always, like, we use these for years, and then, like, we don't even think about it, we hate it, and there's always that thing, you know, in your training, oh, you know, if you can cut a mannequin, you can cut anything. Oh, if you can colour a mannequin, you can colour anything. I used to hate the mannequins. And certainly with the corona situation, I've learned to love them again. Alright, so making sure I've got tension, a lot of tension. Look at also how I'm holding the blades, eh? So look, I'm resting the finger on the top. This is going to help stabilize the blade. And look at my thumb, it's just in very, very slightly. So I'm very little movement as I'm working. Let's just drop it away. Comb it down. And it's looking good. Now, we've got a few options here. We can over direct right back, or just bring this down. We're going to bring this down because we want to keep this slightly rounded shape. Bring this down, like so. Follow the guide, there it is. And I'm going to go from underneath. Drop that down like so. And then the same here. But I am going to just keep it ever so slightly, just a little angle through here. I think it's just a bit more feminine, that's more beautiful, you know? And it's also my own interpretation. I think sometimes, you know, when we are doing anything, you know, of course it's a collection, it needs to be inspirational, but each one of us are artists in our own right, you know, so it's inspo, you know, serves as inspo, but it's our job to make it unique, and each one of us is unique in our own way, so it's, you know, we have to play with it. Rules are there to be expressed, you know. Okay, so you can see we're now working into slightly diagonal forward horizontals, working over the top of the ear. Here I'm going to keep the head slightly, I'm going to still keep it ever so slightly forward and just tilt it a touch, and we're going to bring it down. Increase the tension, like so. If it drops away, let it drop away. It's okay, don't worry. Oh, thank you, Oni. Yes, I do. I always keep my energy. I think to be honest with you, I have more energy because I'm not flying. Then again, even when I'm flying, I'm still quite energetic. But I think, you know, when you enjoy what you do, it doesn't really feel like you're working, you know? Well, that, and I think a lot of coffee this morning. Alright, let's just drop it down. It's really hard for me because I love the shape. Anyone that knows how I work, I love graphic, clean, like really, really clean. So it's very hard for me to keep this a little softer, but it's okay. We'll do it. We'll survive. drop this down. Forgetting the front there, so look, keep that away, dropping it down. Now, this is a little bit tricky, not on a mannequin, because mannequins don't really have ear protrusion issues, but you know, this is something you need to be dead careful of. So if we did have, you know, quite a protruding ear here, you need to reduce your tension. Maybe you work with the wide teeth of your comb. Maybe you just pull a little bit less on the hair. You know, tap above, tap below. This is, I find, the most effective way of working. Hey Sabina, thanks for joining, darling. You know, there's a number of different ways that you can approach this. It's just so important because there's nothing worse than you have this like beautiful line and then you have this like bloop, this like giant, like a hole or a bump. It's really not a good look, you know. So because of habit, I'm going to change it to the wide teeth, bringing it down, angling the fingers ever so slightly forward, and let's get rid. Keep it lovely and clean though, eh? Keeping it clean. It's very important. Just bring this up, and I'm going to use the camera as my mirror. And there's quite a nice angle. There's a bit, if I'm honest with you, there's a little too much of, a bit too much of an angle here, but I think it's cool because my rule always with cutting, this goes back to my days at the salon, I think it's much smarter to leave too much and follow your gut and your instincts than to go too short or be too aggressive. There's just like no point because you know, once it's gone, it's gone. There's nothing you can do about it. And thanks, Sabita. I was actually just saying it in the beginning. I wanted, this hasn't been coloured. We're going to colour it for next week's session. But I wanted to, you know, just do something to make it a little bit more interesting. So I shampooed the mannequin very quickly with Elgon Color Care Silver Shampoo, and yeah, I think it's come up. It's quite beautiful actually. It looks good. All right, so you can see we're getting that lovely, beautiful build-up of shape. Standing directly behind the head, keeping my discipline as I'm working. Straight down, that through, and we're just going to take off that corner. Now this I'm not so concerned about because we're going to do a really beautiful layering technique on this. Very easy. This shape I just adore. It's a shape that I would very easily, very happily do in the salon. Very effective, very efficient, easy. You can make it as cool as you want. You can make it as you know, as soft as you want. It works on all types of hair textures. For me, it's a fantastic shape. I'm hoping you can't. Any of you that have been following me, I got a new kitty. He's very beautiful but very needy. So you might, if I'm being quiet, you could probably hear him. Can you hear him? Or is it just me? Alright, here I'm going to go down to natural full. Now there's a few options here. I could over direct this back. That's really if I want to make more of a, you know, more of a drop in the front. Or I can keep this more kind of horizontal. I'm going to keep it more horizontal. Bring this down like so. And we're going to take off that corner. Now, thank you, Sabita. I really like it as well. I just have to be careful though, because you know, we want to make sure that we're still keeping the feeling of the collection and we're not making it too Jon-esque, because yeah, I love it, you know, when there's a beautiful, beautiful graphic angle on the shape. just moving into the next section. Again, just paying very special attention, you know, for the top. You know, just letting the shape do its thing here. Okay, so. Alright, so we're going to just bring that straight down like so. Take off that corner. Okay. I think the cat is trying to get through under the door. Mamma mia. Alright, just working through here. Now also don't forget, we've also used the Prep-It. The Prep-It is fantastic for times like this because it's going to help give me some control as I'm working with the hair. So it's, as the hair is drying, the shape is, you know, it's just doing its thing. Okay. I'm going to have to let my little kitty in. He's being a bit of a diva. The wonders, this is definitely not something you would ever get if we were in the academy. The wonders of working live. Then again, I would rather this than the builders or the postman coming to the house. Alright, so here, just working through, paying special attention with the top. Making sure that I don't square off around the front. There we go. Oh, hey. And he's come to join in. Okay, so now we're just moving on to the very last section. Here, I want to bring the head more into its natural position, like so, just so we can check the shape. What do you guys think? Are we liking the shape? I think it's looking quite nice there. It's sitting in quite nicely. Quite a nice graphic shape in there. Not too much. Okay, let's just work through here now. Ah, hello. It's so nice to have people from so many different countries joining our sessions. So thank you. All right, let's just finish this off. Let's go through. Very simple, eh? So I think my mannequin has maybe been like molting or something because she's got like little patches. Okay, let's just work through. The bob is always one of my favourite haircuts. Anyone that knows me, certainly my time back in London, it was always my weapon of choice. You know, I always used to get clients coming in for bobs, and I love it. I think it's really is one of the most challenging shapes, and I think for myself, I'm talking about my own taste here. I love it when it's just beautiful, graphic, clean. I just think it is exquisite, and I'm going to tell you a little story. So before I became a hairdresser, I actually trained to be a graphic designer. That was always my dream, to go into advertising and become a graphic designer. But really focusing on the advertising part of the industry. And I'll never forget it. There used to be this beautiful woman that used to go to this bar. She used to come to this bar. And she had this like beautiful like red lip, black and white stripy top with this like beautiful black bob, and it had this like Art Nouveau Paris. It was just beautiful. It was chic but really cool, and it just looked so good on her. And I thought to myself, wow, it's really amazing that like you can really create something like that on a head. You know, I think it's totally incredible. That, believe it or not, was why I wanted to become a stylist. You know, I found it so beautiful. It's incredible, you know, what you can do. What you can do with a pair of scissors and a comb, the desire to learn, you know, I think it's, you know, amazing. Really amazing. So I'm liking how the shape's looking. think it's sitting in quite nice. There's a good angle. I'm realizing now as I'm looking at it, yes, there is maybe a touch too much of an angle around the front, but this is cool because I can always, square this up later. Would rather be a little bit safe. Jude, my good friend Jude, joining from the Philippines. Thank you so much. I love these guys, they're amazing. Really, they're amazing and so inspiring. We can sit in a bar in the Philippines and talk for hours about our craft, It's great. Sabita, what level was mannequin before? I think this is a great question and thank you for asking. The mannequin, if I'm honest with you, was already pre-coloured. So it was already at level 10, but of course it's a mannequin, so it's that like really synthetic, kind of plasticky level 10. Not neutralised, so it was quite raw, and the hair is really porous. So honestly speaking, all I did was just very quickly wash the hair with Color Care Silver shampoo and just left it on for like a minute. And it's just because of the porosity, it's taken very well. But in a way, it's quite nice. It's definitely not the colour it's going to be next week. But I think it's come up really nice. It was like a pleasant accident, All right, so let's move on to the other side now. Now, there's a few ways you can do this. If you've been watching a few of my videos, what you'll see is I like to cut the whole of one side first and move on to the other. The primary reason for that is because I find if I'm like jumping from side to side, I lose my precision and I lose my discipline. I actually find it much quicker and more efficient also to work this way. So what I'm going to do now, and this is very important, I'm going to take a parallel section on the other side. This serves as a guide. Let's just keep this out of the way. Great. This is now going to serve as my guide for the other section. I can't talk today. Like so. And what I will always do is I'm going to just turn it so I think you can see a little clearer. Let's just make sure. That's always better, isn't it, when you can see? We always start from the centre. Always, because this is our reference point when we're working, yeah? So let's just work through. I hope you guys are going to be able to see. Let's just move this out the way. All right, let's have a look. So for any of you guys that are just joining, thank you very much for jumping into the session. My name is Jon. I am the Global Education Manager for Elgon Cosmetic. Today we are going to be doing a reinterpretation of one of the iconic looks from Gentle Energy. Gentle Energy is the segment of the collection which is for spring and for summer and the fall of 2020. We've just launched part 1 with 2 iconic looks. We already did look 1, which is Authentic Blonde. We did this one last week. The last 2 weeks we did the colour and the cut. I think it's so beautiful. This is showcasing our brand new freehand lightener. Something that I think we've needed for a little while. Great product, exclusively created, as it says on the tin, for freehand colour techniques. And and this time we are showcasing our second look, which is called Total Blonde. Total Blonde is all about beautiful, crisp, clean, pure blonde, just really beautiful. We see with blondes, there's been like for such a long time, there's been like a big focus on greys, pastels, pinks, blues, silver, and I think sometimes it's nice, and like we've seen this as a big trend for quite some time, and we know it's going to be there. this is why we did Tech Romance, because Tech Romance is all based on this principle. So what we wanted to do was to really focus on the essence of the colour and the essence of the cut, really going back to purity. And you know, we really wanted to reinterpret the bob and reinterpret just a beautiful clean blonde, you know? You can't beat it. So it's a bit of a contradiction from what we're seeing here, because we're seeing a very silvery colour. But next week I will show you how we achieve the colour. If you do want to know a little more about the products or about the collection, don't forget to check out our Connect by Elgon YouTube channel. On here we have a number of different videos focusing in on the different elements, so you can really get an update. And also, if you haven't seen, this is of course the collection for international, for summer and fall. But if you have missed the previous collection, which was for the spring Tech Romance, do check out our Connect by Elgon page, because on there you'll see all of our tutorials. Okay, I'm going to just check this visually here. I think we're looking pretty okay. It's maybe just a touch more on this side, but I think we're good. I'm just going to refine a touch. Don't worry if you can't see this, because I'm going to go through this with you later on the refining part. You know, believe it or not, it's a shame he's not with us. It's a very dear friend of mine. I worked with him in Scotland. He was like a little rough diamond, and then he moved to London to really hone and refine his craft. And yeah, it was really, for me, a real inspiration. His name's Fraser, fantastic hairdresser. And he said something very interesting, and I really do agree. Refine, refine, refine. Actually, the easy part is cutting the shape when it's wet. But the real magic happens once you've dried the haircut and you refine it, you know? So you'll see this today. We are going to work through the shape, and then once we've done that, we're then going to refine, refine, and refine. Let's go back through the center. The refining is really where the magic truly happens. Drop it away, moving on to the next section. Down, bang, just get rid. Of course, the shorter you go with this haircut, the more graphic the structure is going to be. Working horizontally. And just working through. Like so. Very simple. And then it's really when we start layering this, this is where we're going to start seeing a bit more action. But again, we're going back to the purity of the shape, the purity of the form. You know, it's very important. You know, we're not, you know, killing the haircut, you know, texturizing the hell out of it. I mean, for me, again, it's taste, and of course, we're all unique. We all have our own taste. Personally, I really have a dislike for over texturizing haircuts, hiding behind texturizing. You know, I think cutting light color is just beautiful. There's such a beauty to it. And, you know, you want it to be pleasant, you know, when you're watching. It's just beautiful. There's nothing worse than watching someone and, you know, they're hacking away at the hair like it's a hedge in a back garden. It's hair, it's attached to a human, you know, it's attached to a person. You know, the hair is, you know, your hair is a very important part of your identity. You know, so why would we treat it like it's a hedge? You know, sometimes we can forget, you know, that is attached to people. Okay, so just working through, coming through to the last few sections. I do have a habit through here of overcompensating of the angle. So it might just be a touch longer, but you know, I'm not panicking. I would rather it was too long than too short. Nothing worse than it being too long. No, sorry, too short. As I said, once it's gone, it's gone. You can't stick it back on. Well, I guess you can have extensions, but it's not really ideal after a cut surface. Okay, let's just move on to the last section now. Just going to bring that down. We're working up to the parting now, so I'm just working through. So, working in the fingers. Like I said, I would never normally do this, but I want rounded. I want that slightly 70s vibe to this shape. Okay, same here. Bring the head up slightly. Bring it straight down. Whoa. Okay, so bring it straight down like so. Cut off that corner. I'm going to use a wide teeth here. Just loosen the tension a bit. Too much tension is not good for anyone, including hair. Get rid of that. Alright, and then this last corner. Okay, let's just bring this up. Right, I think this is looking kind of okay. The shape's looking pretty nice. What do you guys think? Are you liking it? Just, my cat is also trying to play with the hair. Hey, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining, guys. It's great to have you here. What do you think of the shape? Are we liking, you know, what we're beginning to get here? It's looking pretty nice. Just going to check that form. I need to do just a touch more work around the front, but I think we're looking pretty good. Yeah, you can see we just got a bit too much around the front. So let's just turn her slightly, bring her up right. There we go, look. You see that? Got too much of a corner around here. So what we're going to do, we're going to just take a horizontal section through here. She stays still. So bring that down. This is bowing in beautifully. No, this corner is horrible. So let's just go through. There we go. I'm going to remove this corner. Just work the points. And I'm actually going to elevate that up slightly different to what we did in the collection, but it's okay. And we're going to just remove the corner. Yeah, cool. See what that does? It just opens the front up, but it also just equalizes the form a little more, you know? Great. Let's just do the same here on this last section. All right. Yeah, so this is good. Okay, so now it's time to work through the layering. So this is going to be quite a nice, easy form. So what we do here is I'm going to just wet the hair down slightly. Just going to wet this through a little. We're going to start with working something vertical through the back and then working into something horizontal through the sides to create this slightly stacked effect with the shape. And then eventually working with something square through the top. So we still keep this beautiful edge on the shape, but something very delicate internally. Okay, so let's just make sure you can see. Yes, Okay, so we're going to start with a center profile. Everything works from the central zone. So working from center forehead, right through to the center back, like so. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to isolate it around the ear, like so. We're going to take the section ever so slightly diagonal forward. By taking the shape, the section diagonal forward, actually what this does is it's going to help direct everything onto the face. It's going to create something a little bit more flattering and softer, you know? So, just to give me some discipline as I'm working, I'm going to clip from above and I'm going to clip from below. So it's really, truly secure. It really makes my life easy as I'm working. It's not something I would always do, but certainly for a demonstration, it just makes life a little easier. So, center profile, diagonal forward. I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. And my mannequin's really molted. I think she's a little weighed down. All that time living in a box waiting to be cut. Okay. Alright, beautiful. So, I'm loving that angle. It's nice, huh? And I think what's with the colour? It works. Actually works very well. It's a shame because the colour's not is not going to be final. Alright, so here what we will do is we're going to start with a centre profile section. Very simple, really very simple. So, isolate the sides. Don't worry, I'm going to show you in a moment. Isolate the side like so. And here we are going to take a little strip of hair through the centre back. Now for this, I like to use slightly smaller blades. Gives me much more control when I'm working. Now it is also very important, I'm going to keep the head upright, because my objective here is to round the shape ever so slightly. Okay, so let's go through. Central section, I'm going to bring that straight out. You see the hair like here? Ignore this, don't cut this under any circumstances, otherwise it's all going to be too short. Square, and keeping it square, pulling it towards the wall, or the window in my case, and drop it down, basta. Comb it, check that it's not doing anything strange, which is not, the shape's actually sitting very nicely, and then we're going to repeat the process. Very easy, beautiful. Easy, breezy, beautiful. Okay, next section. What are we going to do here? Split the previously cut area. So we're going to take half the guide. I'm now going to move into the next section. Same process over. Vertical. Standing directly from the side of the head. Straight out. I'm also always working from the bottom to the top. If there is too much hair for me to cut, I drop it away and just gradually move up, like so. Combing it down, and then on to the final section. I'm keeping these sections quite big because, like I said, the mannequin, she's got random bald patches. So, of course, if the hair was thicker, I'm going to take finer sections, yeah? Equally, if the hair is finer, I'm going to take thicker sections. Otherwise, you will lose the guide. Okay, let's just drop this down to have a quick look at the shape. Make sure it's not doing anything strange. Beautiful. It's a lovely, beautiful bevel here. You see that? Isn't that beautiful, huh? Sits in very nicely. Is proportionate, because again, there is nothing worse than having the layers way too short. Yeah, it needs to be balanced within the shape. You know, if I cut these too short, it's going to look a little bit mushroomy. This is not the effect we are looking for, yeah? Okay, now let's do the opposite side. Just make sure nice and damp. I'm always checking the shape as I'm working, yeah? So combing it, is it sitting okay? I'm not worried about the graduation. Don't panic, don't waste your time on it for now, because we will deal with it later once you've dried the shape, yeah? Now, 2 options when you're working on the back. If you saw on this side, I'm pulling, this side I need to push. But what you could also do is actually flip it. So stand on the opposite side of the head, and you're going to work from the top down. It's up to you. I'm a lefty, so I actually prefer to push and pull. It's much easier. I'm not moving constantly. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. Same process. Subdivide the back. So ignore this. It's already cut. And I'm just going to follow through. Same process as before. Elevate it straight up. If it's too long, get rid. Remember, we're not going crazy here. Now, we're not creating like a mullet shape. And we want something that's still soft. You know, it's not always about how much you cut off. It's about where you cut it off. You know? It's very, very important. And if you watched my video last week, this is something we spoke about, or I spoke about quite a lot already. You know, it's very important that you kind of take the principle of, you take the principles of architecture. You know, you're working with space, you know. I'm just saying, yeah, you're working with space. You're creating space on a head, you know. So that's why, you know, every piece needs to have its purpose, its function. And I think if you are just cutting hair off willy-nilly, as we say in English, you're cutting hair off for the sake of cutting off, and you don't know why, then I don't think you should be cutting hair. You know. Let's just cross-check. So we're going to do a technical cross-check. Just make sure that the hair isn't doing anything strange. Just a few pointers, something I learned very early on. You know, when you're checking your haircut, the natural thing to want to do constantly is like, you know, you're really looking at it. But if you do that, your eyes will lie to you always. So it's always best to do it purely by feeling. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to work through horizontally and just make sure nothing strange is happening. Remember, we're not working with a graduation, we're working with a layer. Alright, we're looking pretty cool. So now it's time to move on to the sides. Very easy. Here we are going to forget the top. So this we totally ignore for now. Now what we need to do is travel the guide in towards the face, taking horizontal sections. This is going to direct the weight around the front. So this is our first section. Let's just unclip this. Just forget about that. You can see it's just drying a bit too much at the moment. Let's just comb that down. Okay, so let's just work through like so. Same principle, exactly the same principle. So we're going to go through. And we are going to work through and take off the guide. We're going to remove the corner. And you can't see this right now, but I have a kitten clawing at my feet. Ow! My God. Yes, I have my cat is clearly trying to join in. It's perfect. As I always say, don't ever do anything live that involves children and animals. It's It's always the big no-no, right? All right, next section. Same principle, subdivide. I'm going to just turn the head so it's easier for you guys to see exactly what I'm doing here. So maybe just straighten her up a bit. Straight out. Now, Eve, you see here, I'm losing my discipline because I'm losing the control. So, let's ignore this. Work through the underneath section. I'm over-directing back just to cover myself so I don't cut too much off. Here is the length. There we go. You see here? That is the length, yeah? So if I don't cut that off, I'm good. I'm now working on the hair above it, like so. Once I've cut, drop away. If I'm not sure, comb it down, just to make sure that nothing strange is happening. Now we start traveling up towards the top. Next section. Remember keeping sections horizontal as we're working through. Keep the discipline when you're working. Okay, and if you remember from my other sessions, I'm always checking out. Always checking as I'm working. And I'm quite liking how the shape is sitting in. It's not doing anything strange. Now we move on to the last section. Whoa. And I'm going to over-direct this a little bit more aggressively, let's say. Drop that down and onto the last one. Now, what this is actually going to do is it's going to create more of a layer around the fringe, not a fringe, around the front. Not really a fringe per se, but it's going to create like a detail. An area of interest around the front. So you'll see later when we blow dry it, you can see here we're starting to get that detail. So later when we blow dry it, you're going to create something a little bit more, with some interest to it. All right. What do you think of the shape? You see the difference? How nice that sits in. We compare it to this side. Like it sits nice, but it's just look at the movement through here, and it all kind of fits. It all fits inside the structure. Whereas on this side, if you look, it's hanging a bit like a curtain, and this is not what we want. All right, same principle here. Slightly diagonal forward, vertical into horizontal sections, just to keep my discipline. Just clip this away, like so. And we're going to do the same principle here. Taking the hair from behind, straight out. Oh, she's really got a bald patch. And there's underneath area. All right, and I'm actually going to work slightly differently. So here, I'm going to pull. On the other side I push, this side I'm going to pull. And also I think you can see a little better. Much better. If you have any questions, do feel free to write them into the comments. We're here for you, so if you have any questions about products or the technique, then please don't hesitate to let us know. Thank you, Savita. So if any one of you has just joined, thank you very much for joining our session today. My name is John. I am the Global Education Manager for Elgon Cosmetic. And today we are focusing on our second iconic look of Gentle Energy. Gentle Energy is part of our collection Generating Uniqueness. This is the summer and fall segment. This is actually part 1. We have a great little surprise coming up for you soon. That's all I'm going to say right now. I think you're going to love it. But back to now. The last 2 weeks we presented Authentic Blonde. This was all about, 70s, worn in, done, but not too done. This is all about purity. So purity with the cut, purity with the color. Next week we are going to conclude this look by going through the color technique with you. Now, actually the model that we used on the set, she had virgin hair, so her hair was not colored previously. So it was a perfect time to use our brand new Eye Blonde Decolorant Super 9. Can lift up to 9 levels of natural hair in very little time. So perfect with the current situation with salons right now. It's a fantastic product, and through that we did 9 levels through the lengths and the ends, doing a classic virgin decolor technique, and then through the roots we used our Elgon Decolor Cream Bleach, which is perfect for the scalp because it is enriched with beeswax. It has a beeswax base to it, so it is perfect for the scalp. Alright, so let's have a look at the shape. I think we're looking pretty okay. I need to just do a touch more work on this side. Hi Linwell, thank you for joining. So nice having people from so many different time zones joining our sessions. It's got Philippines, I think we saw a bit of Spain, I'm sure Italy is in here somewhere. South America as well, Trinidad of course. Sabito is with us a lot, which is great. I thank you very much. That's great. Because I know a lot of people are returning back to the salons now, so I know it's it's kind of tough, and I know a lot of people have been having education thrown at them. So we try and keep it as short, sweet, and as inspiring as possible, and more importantly, something that you can take back and use in your salons. That's the most important thing. So all right, so now we're moving on into the last section. I don't know about you guys, but I'm quite liking how the shape is. I'm going to work a little more with the length later once you've dried it, but I can see the shapes there. I think this is going to dry very nicely with very little work. That makes me happy because I absolutely despise spending hours blow drying. If Zoe was here, she would tell you it was one of the things I hated with a passion in the salon. I appreciate others doing beautiful styling work, but for me it's a lot of work. I much prefer doing just beautiful colours and beautiful cuts. Alright, so here what we're going to do is we're going to work with a classic square layered zone through the top here. We're basically going to remove the corner. So if you think of the shape, we've gone square, square, square. Now because the head of course is a round object, when you put something square on something that's round, you're going to build up corners within that structure. It's going to create this kind of sense of fullness within the shape. So this is our objective. So we're now going to subdivide. We're going to be traveling towards the front. Yes, thank you, Sabita. I do indeed love what I do. I love it very much. And I think it's, we're so lucky. We work in a profession, we work in a craft where, we can work wherever we want. We can do whoever's hair we want. People, we can charge whatever we want. We're a very loving and sharing community. We love to share, we love to help each other. Yeah, we love to have fun. I think we're so blessed. We work in one of the most vibrant and fun industries you can work in, and this is absolutely why I do my job. It's why I get out of bed every day, because it's certainly not for me, it's for you guys, to make sure everyone has the tools and everyone feels inspired and motivated, you know, to really feel connected. Oh, that'd be a good one for Nicoletta. Connected, yes. To feel connected, because that's ultimately what it is. And I think in the time that we have at the moment, we can't see each other. All our travel has been completely stopped for the whole year. So for me, it's highly irregular. I mean, normally by now I would have cleared off all my air miles. I mean, I really would be traveling. My agenda was crazy, but what it's actually done, what this very valuable time has done, it's actually given me the opportunity to take a step back, reflect, appreciate, not only work professionally, but also personally, to really understand and appreciate things, and also put things into perspective. You know, and I think, you know, it's every day I wake up and we do what we do, and I think it's a real art. You know, I think all of us are so lucky. And the fact that we do something we love and we get paid pretty okay to do it, I mean, you can't complain about that, right? I would much rather that than go through life doing a job I hate. You know, life is too short, you know. Okay, so this is the basic structure. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's looking pretty nice. What do you think? Feel free to write it into your comments. I think it's, I'm loving it. Now what I want to do is dry it. I'm not going to spend hours blow drying it because the shape's already there. I don't need to spend hours drying it. So I'm going to do an old school wrap dry. I love a wrap dry. It's, to be honest with you, I would spend in the salon most of the time cutting, very little time blow drying. I hate spending hours blow drying the hair. So we're just going to work through. Now, the testament of a good haircut, and I think Jude, if you're still here, something we've spoken about many times over our whiskies, is, you know, the beauty of a haircut when you just let it dry. It just dries and it falls into shape. That for me always makes me very happy. And that's what cutting's all about. Thank you, Gina. We're just going through. Let the shape do the work. Actually, the colour's looking pretty nice there. It's got this really nice, beautiful silver tone. So as you can see, the colour toning shampoo from Color Care has got a beautiful, the neutralising ability of it is fantastic. Because the hair was, to be honest with you, the hair was just looking like, it wasn't looking so fresh, you know. Now I'm not going to use a round brush because, you know, we're not in the 80s and we don't need to. The mannequin has more curly hair. It's got a bit of movement in it. We're just going to let the shape do its work. Look, it's got random bald patches in there. I don't really know what happened. I think she got stressed in transit coming from Italy back to Holland. But look, this is very important now. This is really, really important. What we're doing, using the Denman or using our vent brush. I personally prefer using a Denman. I don't have, I do. I prefer using a Denman because you've got, look at the shape. If you look at the shape, it's rounded, so it's perfect for creating the bevel. But also, the other thing is, look at the head shape. The head is a round object. So, you know, if the haircut's right, you just use the head shape to help bevel your haircut. Let the head shape do the work for you. And if you need to, just do a bit more work. You can see I've got a little more in here. But the nice thing is, because you've got these layers in here, you can really have some fun with this. Now, I can't actually see. Oh, there we go. That's better. I can see now. I can see my shape without the comment. But you can see the shape is doing all the work for me. Now, the top, I'm actually going to drive the top forward because if you look at the photo, it was actually styled without a parting. I think it's way cooler. And then we'll be finished. So I think in about 5 more minutes we'll be ready to start dusting this off. So again, just make sure you've got the tension in. Get the tension in the sides, get it dry. This for me, like when I was taught this way of drying a cloth, it was a game changer because, you know, for years I would always be in there with a brown brush and it would look like Dora the Explorer. You know, it would look like a big mushroom, and there's nothing worse than a mushroom bob. I hate mushroom bobs. You know, I think it looks way more beautiful and cooler when it, you know, it caresses the head. And if you also want to see, I worked for a brand here back in London before my platoon days. I worked for a brand back in London. They were really super cool. I mean, they really were the gym of my hairdressing career. And that was really where I learned my craft. And Zoe as well, we both worked there together for a number of years. And yeah, we really learned our art there, you know. And you know, certainly like doing haircuts that are a bit cooler. And I mean, of course, we're working with an Italian brand, so you know, it's important to have the ooh la la and the Italian, you know, that effect. But also, we're all unique, huh? So it's also very important to bring your own interpretation and your own you know, taste. You know, what would it be like if we all worked like robots? It would be bland. Okay, so now I'm just going to work with the nozzle. Just give me a bit more control. I think it's looking quite nice. What do you guys think? It's sitting in beautifully. Nice form in here. Whoop. Nice form. There's the wonders of having a magnetic nozzle in your hairdryer. And we're just going to work through, just polish just a little more. Go through, working the underneath. And look at what we're doing here. So just twisting, dropping down. Yeah, working back through. Like so, yeah. So we're actually using the brush to help create the bevel. Like so. And we're creating volume, but controlled volume, so we don't want this to be, like we said, we're not looking for Dora the Explorer. Yeah, we want something a little bit more chic. Not that there's anything wrong with Dora the Explorer, but just not for today. Okay, so just refining those last few sections, and then we're going to go through and we're going to go through just the final touches and refinements on the haircut. And we're done. I'm going to just move the comments for a second just so I can see the shape. That's looking pretty okay, right? Like I said, I love a good bob haircut, and it really makes me very happy. Alright. Also, just sometimes something that we do as well is just to control the shape, you tilt the head, something I do quite a lot. But also something that I always do is also when the head is tilted, I'm also looking at the shape, yeah? So I'm always checking to see if there's any graduation, if there's something strange happening, did I miss something? So I'm always checking as I am working. Okay. Let's bring this back up. Alright, so here I am just on the front. I'm going to use a round brush just to add a bit more kind of ooh-la-la, make it a bit more interesting, because at the moment the front's looking a little bland. So, there we go. Let's just do something a little bit cooler here. So I'm going to just, he doesn't want to stay still. He's one of those. It has like no flexibility in the neck. So let's just bring that back. And I'm just going to add like a touch of movement, just the surface. Is that a concave graduation cut in well? Oh, very nice. Look at you being all technical. I think, is it a graduation? No, it's not a graduation. It's a layer. So it's one length working actually with a very simple squared layer. So it's very nice because it's all it's doing is just shifting. It's shifting and dispersing the weight to different areas, you know. Very, very simple. Thank you very much. Good colour and great cutting. Thank you. The colour I can't really take much credit for. It's actually the performance of one of our products. This is the colour toning shampoo from Colour Care from Elgon. Silver shampoo. And yeah, it's worked very well. I just left it on for a minute. And yeah, it's created on this mannequin. It's just a beautiful, beautiful colour. Really beautiful. Alright, so let's now finish the form. Very easy. Now for this, if I'm in the salon, the rule I always have is you want to be working below, because you're checking the graduation and checking the line. It's impossible to check from graduation when you're here. So normally in the salon, I would do this on a stool. I'm going to obviously do this standing. So let's hope we can get her a little higher. Oh wow, look at that. Fantastic. A bob layer technique. Yes, indeed, it is a bob layer technique. I promise to give out. I think it is a traditional bob layer technique. It's a dead easy haircut because you're working a beautiful line. Square, square, square. I mean, it's so easy. Very effective for the salon. You know, and I think that's, you know, it's also very important that, you know, we have techniques that are easy, accessible, salon friendly, transferable. It is very important, you know. So the layering, I think the layering is sitting beautifully, right? Like, I don't think we need to really touch it, but I'm quite fussy. So there is a little bit of a bump through the back, which I hate. I'm not a big fan of bumpy shapes. So, very likely, I'm going to go through. Remember, I'm not hacking a Christmas tree. I'm not, yeah, I hate it. No, keep it, you know. Work with the shape. Don't kill the shape. What's the point in spending an hour doing a beautiful haircut and then you're like, doing all of this? It's just, I hate it. You know, it's we call it the show pony. You know, it's just showing off, and it's the kind of thing you do when you're, you know, when you're like, you know, when you're like 17, 18 years old, you've just started in the salon, you've learned how to use a pair of blades. It's too much. But I hear you can now do haircuts with light beams, lasers, swords. If it cuts, go for it. Alright, so just working through, again being very gentle, and working with the shape. Yes, Marika, indeed, the Christmas trees. We're not cutting Christmas trees, we're cutting hair. I mean, I'm working on a mannequin, it's not even a real person, but I'm still approaching this the same way as I would in a salon. And you'd be really amazed, right, when you're working with clients, how flexible clients are. They want to know that the person doing their hair is experienced. They want to know that you know what you're doing. And you'll be amazed how many times clients are totally willing to have a change. They're totally willing to change their look. They're totally willing to buy products. But if you don't talk to someone like a professional, if you don't guide them, if you don't coach them, if you don't consult, and the consultation is where all the magic happens. If you don't, then they're going to look online, or they're going to look somewhere else where they can get that advice. It's so important to make sure that you're delivering the full service. Being a stylist is more than just doing a beautiful cut and a nice colour. It's a service. It's the full package. And with more and more salons opening up, with more competition, we have to up our game. Simple. It's the bottom line is this: if you don't up your game, people will go to a different salon. That's just how it works. And it's not just salons; it's everyone in the industry, and it's in every industry. People's expectations are there. We have to make sure you deliver as best as you can. Do we agree? Oh, that's beautiful, huh? It's sitting in very nicely. So I'm just going to finish off this last front area. I'm allowing the edges to just drop away. Checking the internal shape. I just want to soften this just a touch. I'm not going crazy, huh? Now it's time to work on the line. Now, when working on the line, keep everything square and keep the head in its natural position. Still is a touch on the high side, but I'm going to just tilt her forward. And here, I don't know if you can see, but here we've got all of the graduation. This is what we want to fix. So I'm going to just work at the points of the blades. And we are going to just caress that hair. Now this is so unbelievably important, because if you don't work on this part, I'm going to cut one side and then show you the other so you can really see the difference. If you don't refine, then your shape is going to look terrible when your client is, maybe when she leaves the salon, it looks great. And then when she's like in a supermarket or something, or like swings her head, you see like these horrible bumps. Look at the difference between here and here. Now I could spend maybe 20 minutes doing this, but I don't have the luxury of 20 minutes because I will lose you guys. So I just want to very quickly show you the difference. So let's do the same. Head is tilted forward. Here is my central point, and we're going to go in like so. You see all that rubbish? It's graduation. It's rubbish. It doesn't need to be there. It serves absolutely no purpose. Making sure we get all the hair from the underneath, like so. Now it's a little bit difficult because of my body positioning, so I'm going to just tilt the head here. And we're going to do the same. Just work through here. And I don't know if you guys can already, look at the difference. Ooh, look at the difference. You see how that line sits in? Hey Tang, thank you so much for joining.
You're welcome.
Oh, now so I've got my cat talking to me, and now I have my HomePod talking to me. I just need my phone to join in and I'll have a full house. Okay, so I think we got a beautiful angler. It's sitting in very nicely. It's still not perfect. It's a bit bumpy through the back. I need to do more work, but it's okay. We're going to just go through. I'm going to tilt the head a little more, and I'm going to just go in. Just take that down a touch more. I think, when you're working with these kind of shapes, you have to be like gentle but fearless at the same time. You have to get in there. Do what you need to do. Get the result, Alright, so, look at the shape. And it's great that I can see from the side. I'm going to just work a little more for the front because I hate this. Okay. Hi Deanie, thank you for joining. Okay, let's just go through. It's always very brave, I think, doing a haircut like this on a live, because there's so much to go wrong. Yeah, I'm loving this. What do you think? Are we liking the shape? It's quite cool. I think it's hugging the head beautifully. One last test I do before I move on to the other side is this. This I love. You ready? Pull this out. And if it's square and the shape curves, we're cool. We've got a good shape. Another way to check, tilt the head. And actually I've got a black top, so it's perfect. Comb it down. And look at that line. Beautiful, huh? And these are the kind of things that I obsess about. So if I ever see anyone doing like a campaign or a shoot, it's those kind of things I'm like really obsessed about. Let's just go through. I want to refine this a touch more. Remember, we're not cutting a Christmas tree, we're cutting hair. Just work a tiny touch more here. All right, and then we're going to just very quickly just finish off the other side. Like so. Let's have a look. Now this side actually isn't so bad. It doesn't need so much work. It's a little under here. I want to just tilt the head a little. Just give me some control. Let's see what's happening around the front. Yeah, there we go. Look. Okay, let's just check the balance. We've just got a touch too much on this side, so we need to do a little more work. But I think part of the issue is also weight distribution. The weight needs to be, we need to work a bit more with the weight through here. So let's just do that. There we go. I have to be dead careful around this area here, because if we take too much out of here, then we've actually got no substance left over the ears. And there is nothing worse than somebody cutting these kind of shapes and then you're left with like a big hole around the front. It just looks terrible. But look at that shape, it's beautiful, huh? Okay, let's just do some more work here. Obviously, if this was a real client, you wouldn't do that. That would be considered assault in some countries. So yeah, be careful. There we go. Now we've removed some of the weight. Now I can see what we're working with here, yeah? So it's a little bit more difficult. I want to make sure you can see. I need to come right in from underneath and I need to just chisel some of this rubbish away. Go. See the difference? Very, very, very subtle, huh? But very important. And still, look at that. It's just too much here. Let's get rid of that. There we go. Perfect. It's just much of a corner. Let's do our little test. Look at that shape, huh? Beautiful. We've got that line. It's great. Let's do the same on the other side. We've got that line. Okay, the only thing that isn't quite right at the moment is the weight distribution. It's just a bit on a thick side through here. So let's just work there, and then we're pretty much done. We're just gonna finish off the front, this section here, and then we're done. Here I am gonna just work with a channel cut technique, but I'm not going crazy. Look, just going through. I'm still looking at the hair, huh? I'm not going crazy. Bringing it up. Where I see that there's like a lump of weight, I'm going from the back, bang, to take that out. But we're not cutting chunks off the hair. Yeah, we're just creating space. Drop it in. Yeah, nice, huh? Look at that lovely shape. So now we just need to work on that front area. And we're done. So let's just bring this down. You know, I haven't cut a bob in years. It's been quite a long time. So no pressure. Okay, so here we're just going to work through, very simple, just keeping it nice and easy. Square, and we're just going to dilute the layer down slightly. Remember, not a Christmas tree. So we're not going to be brutal. Yeah, let's drop that down. Yes, thank you very much. Yes, it does look symmetrical on both sides. You always want that when you cut a bob, right? I think this is also why it's like so, it's kind of brave doing this haircut as a live, because, you know, it's very challenging. You don't have a mirror. You're under pressure from time. I mean, we're already running over, but we've accepted that. Well, I've accepted that. You know, time. You know, we've also got bald patches on this particular mannequin. So yeah, I've got a lot of elements working against me, but that's life. And you know, I'm going to tell you something very interesting. I worked with quite some years ago. I was working with a brand in London. We had a fantastic guest artist, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful man. One of the ex-Sassoon directors of cutting. And someone in the audience said, how do you know if that side is symmetrical, that side? And we were like, oh, I wonder what he's going to say. His reply was fantastic. He basically said, yes, but darling, he said, you know, is this ear parallel with this ear? Is this eye parallel with this eye? Whose face is actually totally symmetrical? And I was like, yeah, you actually have a really good point. And this is the point. You could cut the most, like, technically perfect haircut in the world. Like, it could be technical perfection. But then visually, it doesn't work. The technique doesn't mean anything. So it's really important to make sure that when you're doing something, it not only works technically, but it works visually. And it's actually more important, in reality, that it works visually than it does technically. Because at the end of the day, that's what people are going to see, you know? That's what people are focusing on. Okay, just very quickly, I'm going to, just so I can also check the shape in a blaster hair, just make sure that nothing strange is happening. I think it's looking nice. The colour looks amazing, right? It looks fantastic. I'm just going to blast some shine it through it. Something I like doing just to help, just for the shine factor. Smells amazing as well. And then we're also just going to work into it. We're going to work a little bit of, yes, pump it. Number 58, this is a spray texturizer. We didn't use this for the image in the collection, but it's perfect. It just creates the grittiness that I want. Let's just turn her around. And we're just going to polish this off. see what's going on here. That's just a bit too much, I think. So let's just work with what we have. Not what we don't have. That's the story of life, right? Beautiful. So we've got that lovely, beautiful, exquisite shape through the back. I'm loving this. Got that beautiful shape through the back where it hugs the head. Isn't it fabulous? Look. And you could do something really neat with the texture as well. You know, it's got that gorgeous angle, clean and graphic through the perimeter, working in through the top. We got that lovely. That lovely shape. Like we were saying earlier, you create that detail around the front, but without it being a fringe per se. It's a detail. So it's also long enough, if she had ears, it would actually be long enough to put behind the ear and do something really cool, you know? So, and of course you could go shorter, you could go longer, you could go graphic. I mean, there's so many things that you can do with it. So that concludes the haircut from Total Blonde from Gentle Energy. Thank you so much for joining into the live session. Join us same time, same place next week where we are going to be doing the color technique for this look and talking through much more about how we created the iconic look. If you have any questions, do feel free to put them into the comments. And do, of course, check us out on our Facebook, Instagram, and not to forget our Connect by Elgon YouTube channel, where it's full of lots of videos about products, techniques, the collection, and other elements as well. So feel free to join in. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have. Thanks for your patience, and enjoy your evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are in the world. God bless and stay safe. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.